Chapter 38, FAQ. FAQ asterisk will update if there are any other questions that I think would be useful to post here for other readers. What now? First, I am going to go back through a study of resonance and edit out a bunch of the spelling mistakes that I have since noticed. Huge thank you to everyone who pointed out errors. I will finally be addressing those comments, in some cases months after noticing them. Then, I have a lot of ideas for a sequel. The trick will be coming up with something interesting, targeted, and not too long. As you all know by now, I can go off on the longest tangents for no reason at all, and I don't think I have another lengthy story in me quite yet. My current plan is a sequel centered around Percy and Severus, as they attempt to go on a relaxing holiday abroad, only to get embroiled in a confusing political mess, as the Dementors return from their gathering and request Percy's help in breaking their vows. I think this would be an interesting vehicle for Percy to explore some more of the theory behind soul magic without focusing the story entirely on his own healing. Would love to hear all of your thoughts on what would keep you interested in a sequel, as I am actively outlining the story out now. I have added this story to a series, which I believe will help those of you who are interested in reading it find it. I'll also post an update here, I think, when I finally upload the sequel. I still would love to write a Percy and Slytherin story, perhaps a dark Percy story. If I get through the sequel and am not tired of Percy, so please keep those ideas coming as well. They are all duly noted. Why did you write so many words? Honestly, I have no idea. When I said this story was complete, almost a year ago, I had written up to Half-Blood Prince and thought it would be easy to tie off a few plot points and finish the story up. Somewhere along the way, I kept adding scenes and tweaking scenes, and I think I added close to 200k words that I hadn't planned for. I would love to hear your thoughts on whether these chapters were too damn long, or whether you enjoyed the long-form narrative. My process for writing typically includes me constantly thinking to myself, why is Zeiss like that? And then having Percy muse on it until he arrives at a logical conclusion, which means that Percy and I both take 3 times as long as is necessary to say anything at all. The opposite of show, don't tell, I think. But then again, I studied engineering and not writing, so I can't say what the correct thing to do is. How long did this take you? I would say about 3 years, start to finish. I spent about 3-4 months writing all of the Hogwarts years with Percy in Ravenclaw, took a 3-4 break, read it again, hated it, and then rewrote it in about a month without Tom, hated it again, rewrote it again, added Snape. Then I could not for the life of me progress this story past Hogwarts, so I took another extended break, and then one day I reread everything and managed to get energy to write the Garf year. That nearly undid me, my least favorite section of the story, but I got through Oot and then inched along through HBP as mostly bullets. That was when I decided to start publishing on AL3. It then took me a further year to post everything, edit it, and finish off the story. Please believe me when I say I hadn't decided how it was going to end until I was forced to end it. A lot of shower thoughts. I say this just to encourage people who have left comments to the effect that they can't believe I wrote this in 11 months, or they couldn't imagine finishing their stories. I took a lot of breaks where I got bored of my own story, which was generally a sign that something was falling flat. Usually a month or 2 off, and then a gentle reread was enough to get me going again. I also think that repeatedly rereading the earlier chapters is what helped me tie in little details later on and not forget some of the plot points. The other thing that helped was I just told myself firmly that a first draft was good enough, and barring that, bullet points were better than nothing. I had confidence that when I revised I would be able to improve on the draft. That got me through some difficult parts. Just my 2 cents for anyone struggling to get through their stories. I am no expert. Why was Percy such a dick? I honestly didn't intend for Percy to be so unlikable, nor so morally ambiguous. At the beginning, I included in all of his pretentious little musings about society because I thought they were funny. But somewhere along the way, I found it interesting to explore this idea of a pure-blooded character who was technically raised according to the light side. I am a minority in my part of the world, and I have met a lot of people like the Weasleys, who try their hardest to be allies, but continue to view people that are different to them with curiosity that can still feel very alienating, which is how I view Arthur's obsession with Muggle objects. I try to make Percy's view realistic without being despicable, like when he likens Muggles to animals or admits to Severus that he would think it would be easier to kill a Muggle. I think many people are kind to animals and care for them and find them interesting to study, but would also think it was easier to kill an animal than a person. Percy learns the hard way that there were several things wrong with that assumption. I also found myself very interested in an idea of a Percy who hungers for belonging and beauty and tradition, but who also slowly realizes that while family isn't everything, neither is it nothing, and there is power in doing the right thing and acting with integrity. I hope some of that shone through, and Percy felt like he grew throughout the story. What about Tom? I have become oddly obsessed with the Severus/Percy pairing, as well as the Tom/Percy pairing, which I think is the first time anyone has ever had that particularly weird quirk. My original intention for Percy was to pair him with Tonks, but honestly, it never really felt natural to take that step. The first draft of the story never ever had Tom as a portrait, and then the second draft had Percy hating Tom, but somehow that felt much more shallow to me. I don't think this story really came alive until I started thinking about how similar Tom and Percy, and later, Severus and Percy, really are, and how much more exquisitely painful it would be for Percy to turn away from his path if he loved the one who set him on it. I wanted to parallel Percy and Tom to Harry and Voldemort, the idea being that Harry's task was to save the world and destroy the most evil wizard of their time, and Percy's task was to fight his own private battles. Both were crucial, both were difficult. Both kisses made me blush to write, which is absurd given how tame they were. I really think I need to return to Percy and Tom to get it out of my system. I'm thinking a proper Chamber of Secrets fic. If anyone writes this, or any other Tom/Percy, please send it to me and I will read it gleefully. Will Percy get his magic back? Percy will never get his magic back, at least not in the wand-waving Hogwarts wizard way that he had it before. This story demanded a cost, and Percy's magic felt to me the most natural one, more fitting than even his life would have been. To give him his magic back would lessen the impact of his choices, and I wouldn't do that to Percy, not after so much growth. However, I started interesting myself in the idea of physical, ancient magic, and so I can't promise that Percy will never find a source of magic again. After all, in this world, all souls have some sort of magic, and all people have souls, so logic dictates, are you done now? Enough is enough. Yes, I am. If you would like to hear more about this story, my process for writing, or have any further feedback for me, please let me know via a comment or my Tumblr, same username. Please share any fan art you make or fics you write that you think I would enjoy. Okay, one last thing. The reason I wrote this at all was to practice writing. I've always loved to write little poems and short stories, but I've never taken anything other than a literature class in college, so I usually struggle with longer form original works. I thought fanfiction would be a fun way to flex my writing chops, and I was definitely right. You can really see even in this story how my writing progresses as the chapters go by. It's been such a fun journey, and I really encourage anyone who is thinking about writing a story to just go for it. My ask for you, dear readers, is if you feel so inclined, I would love to hear more about what you liked or disliked about this story. Did you feel like Percy was a good character, or was his growth forced? Did you like the plot, or was it too long and complex? Did you enjoy my writing style, or would you have preferred it to be more pointed, or less descriptive, or anything else? What did you enjoy, or what would you have changed? Are there any sections or quotes that resonated with you? I'd love to hear from you so that I can keep improving as I keep writing. No pressure to respond, just thought I would ask. With that, I bid you all adieu. What a ride this has been.